Good afternoon. Welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Saturday. It's June 22nd. Now, a little bit different version of today's show is we're going to go for a couple tracks here that I normally don't play, but it's why not take a shot at some of these here. So today is the Ohio Derby over at Thistledown in the Cleveland area. Now they're running a big card there. Thistledown, this is the 13th race of their card. The Ohio Derby is a $500,000 race, mile and an eighth, and it's a $500,000 purse. So, great purse. So this kind of reminds me of, growing up here in Chicago. Chicago was a minor circuit, when I was growing up, and you'd look forward to these days when you'd have a big race and you'd have ship-in horses come and ship-in jockeys come, and it would kind of be a nice treat, for the fans, that was just used to that everyday grind of a minor circuit. So that's kind of reminds me of what they're doing today over there at Thistledown, where they've got some bigger names and some big jocks coming to ride in some of these races. So anyway, we're going to look at the 13th race, which is the Ohio Derby. And there's a horse I like here who is a 9 horse called Batten Down. Batten Down comes out of the Belmont barn, ridden by Junior Alvarado. Now, looks to me like what Belmont's doing here is Belmont's using this Ohio Derby as a non-winner of 1 for his horse. Why is he able to do that? You just look at the breeding on this horse. This horse is royally bred. It comes out of the Juddmonte Farms barn. The mom was Close Hatches. If you remember, Close Hatches was a wonderful race mare for Juddmonte, and she won quite a few big stakes here in the U.S. And this is, I think, her first offspring, but this horse is out of by a Tappet. So royally bred top and bottom. Horse has 4 starts, a win, a second, and a third. So he's taken his sweet time to kind of get going. Just wasn't ready to be on the Derby Trail, or the Triple Crown Trail for that matter, because his first start was late January over at Gulfstream. Ran an even race, which makes sense. It's kind of what Belmont does. Horse ended up coming back in late February at Gulfstream for a 2-turn test at a mile and an eighth. Ran a great race, just got beat on the wire. And I suspect they probably weren't happy with the Paco Lopez ride that day because this horse got beat a neck on a race that probably should have won. But anyway, Lopez got taken off. They put Junior on the horse, and Junior's done great work for Belmont in the past, so that's no surprise. So Junior Alvarado's ridden this horse twice since then. Came third in a maiden special weight in Keeneland, and then ended up breaking his maiden during would be Derby week. So that was April 30th over at Churchill Downs in a mile and a quarter race. So this horse, flashed some good speed and great stamina, which we would expect, from a horse by Tappet out of Close Hatches. So this horse is 8-1 in the program. There's some scratches in the race. I don't expect 8-1 here, but I do expect a nice price because it looks to me like a horse like Catching Freedom, who is 8 horse, should get some play. Maybe Copper Tax get some play, but I do like Batten Down, and I'm gonna make a win bet on Batten Down in that race. I'm also gonna play a pick 3, which starts in the 11th race over there at Thistledown. Now the 11th race goes at what time does the 11th race goes? 11th race goes about 4 o'clock Central, so 2 o'clock Pacific. They got a couple stakes races, to try to line up a nice card there. So in the 11th race, I've got the 1, 4, 8, 9. The 12th race, which is a $250,000 race, I've got the 6, 7, 8, 10. And then I'm going to try to cap that off in the 13th race, the Ohio Derby, with Batten Down. So that's a $16 ticket, and I'm going to bet Batten Down to win, of course, trying to catch a good price there. Just try a pick 3 ticket, and we'll go from there. All right, now we're going to move on to the Los Alamitos card, and maybe, we'll make a late pick 4 at Los Alamitos today. Okay, so Los Al doesn't offer late pick 5s, but what they do offer is a late pick 4, which starts in the 6th race at Los Al. So that has a post time of about 5:34 Central, so 3:34 Pacific, and Los Al is a smaller meet, of course, than their major meets at Santa Anita and Del Mar. But what they do, and it seems to work out well for them, is they do minimum dollar base bets on their pick 4. So it ends up making the pick 4 pay better than you would expect, when the prices do come out. So I've got a little ticket to play here, just get some action in. But we're not playing big money during the Los Al meet, and we'll gear up a lot more when the Del Mar meet comes up. So let's get started here. 6th race. 6th race is a 5.5 on the dirt here. Well, they only run dirt races at Los Al. It's 25,000 claimer, non-2 winners. I've got 2 horses here to try to get this pick 4 started. I've got the 2 horse who is Crypto Craze. Now, Crypto Craze, I bet this horse last time at Santa Anita. The horse ran for 16,000. Ended up getting claimed. It was a favorite that day. Didn't really run. It kind of just ran an even race, but not much to look at for a lower level race like that. So here's what I do like. Horse gets claimed by Sergio Morfin. Sergio Morfin is certainly won share of races in the Los Al circuit. He raises this horse up for 25, puts a local guy, Pieris, on the horse. Pieris knows every inch of the Los Al track. He rides there nightly and certainly does good work there. So I got Crypto Craze, who's 7-2. And then I'm going to also put the 4 horse, who is Midnight Mojo. Midnight Mojo comes out of the Jerry Hollendorfer barn. Now, Hollendorfer, it was King Jerry at one point, and King Jerry, was the man in California, certainly owned it up there in Northern California, and then years later came down and was doing very well in Southern California. So Hollendorfer doesn't train as much as he once did, but, he does bring horses out to Los Al. This horse is coming off a long layoff, but shows some great works. Puts Maldonado on the horse, and makes me think, Jerry's, going to try and win some races at Los Al. Why not? Since he doesn't train that much as he used to, why not win races at the meets that you can run at? So, got some nice works at Los Al. I expect a good effort out of Midnight Mojo. That's the 4 horse. All right, now let's move over to the next race, which is the 7th race. 7th race is a maiden special weight, 6.5 furlongs. And Bob Baffert brings out a couple horses here in a 6-horse field, so he certainly made this race go. He's got the 3 horse, who's Dothraki, for all of the Game of Thrones fans, which I was one of course. This horse, big purchase, 600,000, and this horse, comes out of the same profile as some of the Baffert horses who have just been blazing out there the last couple weeks with these fast works at Santa Anita. So, it really looks like this horse has been doing some great work in the mornings, probably working with some of his other fast horses that we've seen run well, 4 to 5 in the program. Certainly no secret there. So I'm going to put Dothraki. Then I'm also going to put Baffert's other horse, who was the 5-horse Marsh Creek. Marsh Creek ran one time. Looks like, they probably didn't have a race to fill on the dirt, so he ended up putting them 6 furlongs on the grass. Horse was an 8-5 favorite, 9-5, somewhere around there. Ended up not getting off too well, and it just kind of ran an even race. Maybe was sawed off a little bit on the backstretch. Just ran an even race with Hernandez. It looked to me like that was just a workout education type of deal. This horse has worked certainly well on the dirt over at Santa Anita, which makes me think this horse should, do well here on the dirt. Great breeding by Arrogate out of Life's Blessing, and Life's Blessing was a stakes winner for Baffert way back when for these same owners, and they bred this horse, so they bred their mare Life's Blessing to Arrogate, and they got here Marsh Creek. So this horse 3-1 in the program. Certainly looks like could be a factor here. Now let's move over to the 8th race. 8th race is a starter allowance, and this is a starter allowance more so like what they would run starter allowances in the Midwest, where you have to have run for a claiming price of $16,000 or less. That way you qualify, so it doesn't matter how many races you've won, how many races you've not won. You could qualify if you run for $16,000 or less. So that's more traditional starter allowance conditions. They run at Los Al. So this is a 6 furlong dirt race. I've got 3 horses to put in here. I've got the 1 horse who is Court Snort. Court Snort out of Leonard Powell barn. Kind of strange. This horse has been running in California, and they took the horse out to Indiana to run on the turf. Ended up getting beat, on the wire. So I don't know what the idea was there, but the horse back in California now. And they put the 7-pound apprentice Orontes. Orontes had been riding a little bit in the Midwest, and in the Midwest, but anyway, they wrote this horse up and wrote this guy up in the form that he was kind of come to California. 7-pound apprentice, might be live here. Certainly, running at a track like Los Al could make the weight break dangerous. So I got the 1 horse who was 9-2. And then I've got the 2 horse who was Dream Princess, the Steve Knapp barn. This horse is ridden by Abel Cedillo. Now, I expect Cedillo to do some good work at Los Al. Cedillo, made his way back to Southern California after, being away for a year or so riding in the Midwest. And I expect him to do some good work at Los Al, get some good winners, and try to build up some momentum for Del Mar, which he's ridden well at Del Mar in years past. So, Dream Princess, 5-2. Cedillo, I think that horse would be live. Then I've got the 6 horse who is Indy Star. Indy Star is a decent record over at Los Al, has a win, also out of Leonard Powell barn, so he puts 2 horses in here. So I'm thinking that, he's got a live hand, a strong hand in this race. So I got the 1, 2, and the 6. All right, now let's go to the last race. Last race of the day at Los Al is the Bertrando Stakes, a $100,000 race at a mile. So this race comes up nicely for Cowbreds because, Cowbreds could be out of their conditions, having won that non-winner of one on the dirt or the turf or both, and now they're out of conditions, so they could run here in this race for $100,000. So I've got 2 horses here to try to cap off this pick 4. I've got the 1 horse who is Don't Fight the Fed. Don't Fight the Fed comes out of the Antonio Garcia barn. He had a strong end to the Santa Anita meet, had won some races. He puts his main guy, Mario Gutierrez, on the horse, who's been riding this horse all throughout. And Redham Stables, as we've talked about before, how many times you've seen Gutierrez and Redham win, and Antonio Garcia gets a lot of Redham horses as well. So Don't Fight the Fed at 4-1. That's the 1 horse. And then I'm going to put Baffert in with the 3, Cowboy Mike. Now, Cowboy Mike's a difficult horse for me to figure out. This horse, I know it was bred, the mom is Lutess, who they had a nice graded winner, grade 1 winner, Lutess. I can't remember her name, but came out of the Baffert barn, and this is her brother. This horse had run some nice races, and then they also offered this horse up for $32,000 to get claimed, and nobody touched him. But makes me wonder, this horse, maybe the breeding, the class of this horse does come through at times, because he's run some nice races this year at Santa Anita, ended up winning that $32,000 claiming by daylight, and then ran in the allowance condition, first level for open. As a Cowbred, he won that, and then ended up going up to the second level, and then getting beat on the wire. So Cowboy Mike, certainly a talented horse. Maybe it's the kind of thing where he turns it off and on, and probably confuses his barn as well. But we're going to put him in here. $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Seems like if this guy's on, he can beat this field. So I've got the 1 and the 3. So let's recap here at Los Alamitos. So we've got in the 6th race, which starts the late pick 4, we've got the 2-4 with the 3-5 with the 1-2-6 with the 1-3. And that's a $24 ticket. As I mentioned, we're just looking for, a little bit of action here while the main tracks are closed up until Del Mar. And then, of course, which I originally started with, the Ohio Derby, which is the 13th race, the 9-horse Batten Down, which I really like that horse. I'm going to make a win bet on that horse. And those are going to be my plays for today. So I'm not going too crazy here. Been working on discipline, which, really is a strong thing to go with here as a horse player. And, if you don't like anything, you pass races. If you don't like what a card looks like, you pass the entire card. But I think these couple things are worth the bet here today on Saturday. So, as always, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Let's get some good trips, and let's see some good, safe racing. And I'd love to see a nice effort by Batten Down out of the Mott Barn. As always, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like, dislike, make some comments. Let's create some discussion. I'd like to hear from you. Since we're kind of just going a little light over these next couple of weeks till Del Mar, send me over some topics maybe you'd like to talk about, maybe you'd like to mention, and, we can address those things over these next couple of weeks. We'd certainly like to do that with you. Thank you so much for watching.